was a lot of challenging times where I had to really figure out what was going on. I didn't have I didn't have a car. I had to walk to my shop from my house. And it was just like during that time I was praying, like, I know this ain't it.
Sometimes life doesn't go according to the timeline you imagine. Marriage ends, health challenges hit, businesses close. But what if those seasons aren't punishment? What if they're preparation? Welcome back to the Purpose Pursuit Podcast, where we talk about building a life you're proud of, mentally, spiritually, financially, and physically. Today's episode is about trusting the process, even when it hurts. If you ever had to rebuild, reset, or surrender control, this one's for you. Hit subscribe, share this with someone who needs encouragement, and let's get into it. We'll go ahead and get things started, Miss Candace.
All right.
So glad you were able to visit us today.
It's a pleasure.
And bless us with your presence. And so eager to learn a little bit more about you, as well as the brand, taste buds, etc. So very interested in this conversation today. So we'll go ahead and get things kicked off. You know, I honestly, like when you were telling me about your story, kind of love how everything started with this date night, right?
Yes.
At a culinary school. So, you know, just take us back to, and I'm probably going to butcher this name, Lecole, Culinary. So
Yes.
What happened internally that made you realize that this wasn't just curiosity?
The date night was a pizza class. And from there, I signed up for a second class at Lecole. The first one was a different location, then it was Lecole. And I walked in and fell in love with it. I would think I was more excited on the whole setup, the school. Wasn't excited to join school, but just being in the building was very exciting. So from there, I was like, okay, I might be into this.
So this was just like a class that you went to,
The first one was a class.
like a paint and sip type.
Right.
Class.
It was like a class.
Okay.
And I was inquiring about more classes.
Mm-hmm.
And they was telling me about Lecole have classes. So I went there to sign up for one of their classes.
Got it.
And once I entered the building, that's when she asked me if I wanted to enroll as a student. And I was like, I don't know if I want to be a student, but I just want to give a tour around the building. So once I saw the building, I was like, maybe so.
Okay.
So I was excited about it.
So you date night class, was this something that was just always in you, you know, way back when, or, you know, you just saw it this particular day, just fell in love with it?
A friend invited me out. It was on a double date.
Mm.
And I was up for it. I love to cook anyway. So the excitement of the class, something different, creative. My creative spirit was, enticed by the whole idea. So from there, that's how I started. I didn't have a clue that I was gonna go to culinary school. Wasn't in the lineup. It was not a plan. Wasn't a conversation. I just love to cook.
So what year was this?
This was 2016.
2016. And
Mm-hmm.
so before then, it was not in your...
No, absolutely not. My idea from there was I was teaching at the time. I was teaching 5th grade, and my plan was to own my own school. That was the lineup for me.
Got it.
And this night just made a full turn. And I went to sign up for the second class, and they kept asking me to come back for a class, and I turned it down 3 times, and finally I gave in. But I prayed about it first, and then I gave in.
When you decided to enroll, did you know you were stepping into purpose, or were you just following a nudge?
It was definitely a nudge. I had no idea what I was doing. I actually went to Facebook and made a whole post about it, like, what you think? And everybody was like, yeah, I think that'd be dope. So I kind of sat around with the idea of it, and I prayed about it. And I said, if everything's lined perfectly, then I'm enrolled, and it did.
Yeah. So like, was the people that were close to you, were there any doubters? Or like, hold on, what are you doing? Like, what
Absolutely. Because at the time I was teaching and working at Macy's part-time. My dad, he was the one who told me I should go for it. He said, quit Macy's immediately, because he asked me how much I was getting paid, which was a little bit of nothing. And I was shopping it back at Macy's anyway. He was like, quit and go to culinary school. And the guy was dating. He was just like, why? You already have multiple degrees. You're a teacher. You're doing well. You got your part-time job. So I was kind of battling on what I should do. Had friends that supported and some friends that was questioning it. So it was like, what should I do? And I just prayed about it. Didn't tell no one. The third visit to the school, I just went and said, ma'am, I'm going to give it a try. And here we are later.
Yeah. So like that first season of training, what did that teach you about just discipline?
Patience. Had to be patient with it. When it come your way, you got to really pray about it, make sure that's what you're supposed to be doing. I had to deep dive inside myself, like, what is this journey going to take me to? What's next? And actually, my students was the one who gave me the full push when I was teaching, because they was saw me battling between, do I want to stay in education or do I want to do culinary? And I was bringing food to the school, and the student was like, I think you should do it.
Wait a
So they
minute.
kind of pushed me. Like, that was my biggest supporters.
So you was bringing food to the school.
Yes.
I think. Do you think it was? Do you think it was just the fact they liked?
They loved it. They loved it. I mean, candy, apples, cakes,
Yeah.
whatever I was cooking, I brought to school for the kids.
They're like, go no, go
They
do
was
it,
like, go
so we
for
can
it.
get some more of this candy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So sometimes you get the message or you get the inspiration from a place where you least thought.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And not knowing that the kids are loving what you're doing that's going to be the
Love.
push that you
Yes.
actually needed.
So the school I was working at, they had a kaleidoscope. It was like a after school program with the last class, and I signed up for a culinary. How did it happen? I don't even know. So in that class, it's like a class every Friday we would meet, and the kids and I would bake little cupcakes. So it started there. Like everything I was doing was already in position. Just didn't know it was going to all fall into place. But the kids was loving it. And I saw a picture the other day. Facebook give you a memory, and they had dressed as a teacher day. And the kids came to school as a chef. And I just saw the picture of the day. I was like, wow, you never know the influence you have.
Right.
But yeah, the students, I had about 6 girls came, and a young guy dressed up in a full chef uniform.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, I might be on to something. And here we are.
Right. So looking back now, do you believe some callings are just something that happens to us, or it's just we expect them?
I would speak from my situation. I think it was a calling to me. Today at church really did a number for me, because he was asking about our purpose. And I never really looked into it. I think today hit home. If I didn't have my brand, I don't know what life would put me at right now. Like, that's the one thing that belongs to me. And back then I had no clue that 10 years later, here we are. So I think it's a calling. Definitely a calling.
Yeah. So when Taste Buds Meal Prep launched in 2017, did you feel ready or just willing?
Willing. Definitely willing. A friend of mine made a Facebook post about losing weight, and it was a challenge. Who can lose weight or make a meal prep? And she posted the meal, and I was like, I can cook that. And I took that one meal and I planned it out to a T. I ate the food accordingly. I posted it. It was like a little group we did. And after that, I posted the meal, and they was like, well, sell it. And I was like, well, hold up. Are you sure? It was just personal for me, and it took off.
Yeah.
It took off.
So you went from producing over 100 meal preps a week.
Yes, absolutely.
Then expanded into cakes, catering, experiences. At one point, did you realize this was just bigger than a side hustle?
Well, when I first started, like I said, it was a challenge. And then Kim Rainey, who went to high school with us as well, she was on a weight loss journey, and she was meal prepping. So we ended up collab together, and we was doing 100 meals together, and it was crazy. From there, it just started expanding from catering to cakes. And I said, this is bigger than me. This is not just for fun. Like, this is a need in the community. So how can I bring this about and make it a full business? So it basically just carried me. I just jumped on board. I outgrew my home, and it's just expanded.
Did you have an experience, so it started with you meal prepping, then 100 meal preps. You were meal prepping for others. They were
Yes.
doing orders for you
Yes.
through you. Did you have any idea of what you were doing, or you're just rolling, just going with it?
I was winging it. Well, once I started doing it, I started researching like other companies in the city, what it consists of, how you weight, your items and fruit, what's the portion size. So I did do my homework because I want to make sure I was giving out a good product to the community. But initially it was just like, this is a plan, I'm going to follow the plan. But once I started getting to the signs of it, and then Kim, she was real big on portion size and making sure we cooking with the right type of ingredients. That changed it for me. It became real because people was actually. I had a guy who was a diabetic. I had to make certain meals for him every week. He had a certain different plan to follow. So when it became serious, I took it serious and had to adjust
Got it.
and do the research.
All right, now winning Best in Black for Best Meal Preps, like what did that recognition mean to you personally?
First, it blew me out the water. I didn't even know people even recognized the business. It was new. I was a good year in. Um, I was I was delighted. I was honored that the community saw my business, a growing business, supported it, and saw my hard work I was putting behind it. So I had no clue. I don't even know to this day who nominated the business. So whoever did it, I thank you, and I'm very appreciative because from there I just continued to build on top of the brand.
So you said you was humbled. Like, what did that do to you? When like after winning it,
Mhm.
that next year and the year after, like how did that motivate you?
Um, it made me change my perspective on business itself. Because now it wasn't just candies; it was taste buds. So, what am I going to do to make that business carry on? Like, what is that process? So, I put systems in place. I removed myself and made the business a priority. So, it just changed the whole dynamics. Like, okay, this is Memphis. You create a brand and you get recognized for it. So, now what's the next move? So, I just continue to build on top of it.
Okay.
From there, I started doing catering and small meals to larger meals. And I mean, feeding hundreds of people in one setting. So it definitely
Did you
blew
ever
me.
feel like overwhelmed or feel like you got in too much, or do you need to slow down? Like, what was it like?
Yes, meal prep.
'Cause Were you
It's
were you doing this by yourself, or did you have any help with it
well,
initially?
initially I started by myself, and then Kim and I started together, and then we kind of separated, and I continued to do it, and it became overwhelming. It really became too much, so I stopped meal prep altogether because the demand I couldn't. And teaching, I was still teaching at the time, so I wasn't full entrepreneur, but it was just too much. And different meals for different people had to be different size and different calories. It was a lot to personalize. It was easy when I was doing it for a bulk of people, one meal, one plan, but the need, I couldn't comply with the need how I wanted to with teaching. So I had to separate it for a second.
So it like if you had, and I don't know if you're still doing it now, but
hmm
is that something that you would go back to if you're not? And then if you did, how would you do it differently? Would you have some assistance with it? Someone helping to keep up with the demand?
Absolutely. Would I go back to it? I've been playing around with here and there, but I don't know if I would. Not full fledged because it's different. I mean, there's a lot into it, the micros, and it's some terminology that I want to make sure I'm doing it correct. And I would need a full team.
Mm,
And if I'm not going to do it right, then I don't want to do it.
yeah.
Yeah. But I still do the catering part of it. But not just people doing weight loss or health issues. I don't want to temper anything that I'm not 100% sure with.
Entrepreneurship looks glamorous from the outside.
Yes.
What do those early mornings and long nights really look like?
With an entrepreneur, that you sleep, drink, eat, it's everything. I dream my business. I wake up early. I mean, we talking 5 o'clock in the morning. Every day I got a notebook. I'm planning to the T. I'm scheduling meetings, answering calls. I can start at 5 a.m. I can end at 2 a.m. It goes all day. It's like nonstop. You have to really make time for it. I had to learn balance. It's what I've done here lately. I have a cutoff time. When I'm done for the day, I'm done for the day. I make myself respect my business because I can work hard, but I got to respect my body as well. So I have to make sure that. Now, I don't want to short anyone's cake or catering because I'm tired. And when you're tired, you can't produce quality work. So now I make sure that, okay, this is my window. This is when we're done for the day. And then I pick up. I make sure I take vacations, get my rest, get a massage. So I just make sure that end is also input within the business because it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally agree. I think you got to have that balance. To your point of being overwhelmed.
Yes,
And when you are, things kind of start to slack.
absolutely.
And
It
once
shows.
those things slack, now your business slack, and now your
Absolutely.
credibility is slacking. So,
Yes.
I think the key thing that I took from all of that was the fact that the balance.
Balance is very
Because
important.
I mean, you have to be able to recharge. You
Yes,
have to be able to hit the reset. You have to, to your point of doing some research, you got to be able to do some research. Some may have come up that you didn't know, and you need to put some time
absolutely.
into that. So, no, certainly, the balance in entrepreneurship is glamorous on the outside, but a lot of
Very.
folks just don't see what's happening on that
A
inside.
lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean, from just not producing, you got invoicing,
Mm.
you have social media, you got marketing, you have to go to the bank and invest to put the money back in. And I mean, it's just so many parts to it. You might see the pretty cake, you might see the building decorated, but I had to go get these items to produce that layout. I had to go get the ingredients to cook that food. So it's a lot of, then I got to set it up, get it, then I got to break it down, clean up. It's a lot of parts to that. Having a team is great, but you might not always have a team. And right now, I'm doing by myself.
Yeah.
I got certain people to help. I got a friend, Monica, do the balloons, and my dad helping moving tables and chairs. But the actual work is me, and I have to have balance with it. But I make it look pretty, but on the back end, I have to get rest. That's
So
most important.
certainly, if you're doing, getting into entrepreneurship, you're going to be wearing many hats,
Many, many.
and got to be okay with that.
You better be.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice.
Right.
If I was someone that was coming into it, I would say before you jump out, understand those different titles, them different hats you have to, make sure you're okay with it. Because you might just like to produce and don't want to do the back end work. But the back end work is major for a business to succeed. So you got to make sure you can balance them both.
Yeah.
Or have people, like you said, have a team in place that can balance it for you.
Right. What's one mistake that shaped you into a better business owner?
It's a good question. One mistake, I would say overworking myself. It was a point where I wasn't allowing myself to rest, and I saw that in my work. I wasn't able to produce how I wanted to. It showed because, like I said, your body get tired, and I have lupus, and so in my illness, it requires me to get sleep. And at the time, my eyes kept getting red, and I never understood why because I was overworking. So I understand the balance of them two. How do you manage a business and your personal life? So that shaped me to be okay. Let's make sure we're doing them both to be successful in this business.
Yeah. Now, how do you protect your vision when opportunities start pulling you in different directions, though?
hmm for me, I put it all on the table. I weigh it all out. What makes more sense? When I decided to go back teaching this year and be an entrepreneur, I had to really understand what made sense in those two. Teaching is my first love, and baking is my second. So I was like, why not do them both? So that's what happened me going back to school teaching culinary. But I make sure I prioritize my time with them. So that's part time, taste buds is full time, and then I have some time for myself in between. So that's what has shaped that part.
Now, you've openly shared. You just talked about it a little bit,
hmm
living with lupus. How has managing chronic illness shaped your strength and perspective?
I didn't know I had lupus until my late 20s, and a lot of people who have lupus in the city or people I've spoken with, they really be shocked by how much I work, which made me dig into it more and understand the illness, like what it consists of, and taking medication and weight loss, weight gain. Um, Lupus really has put me in the mind state that my health, I can't succeed in this business if my health not priority. So walking, going to the gym, eat right, those things has make sure that I'm tending to my health as well as the business. So lupus play a big role in managing it all.
So, you spoke about going to the gym. You spoke about balance. You spoke about focusing on self, rest.
Yes.
How can you, or how do you, like, make all of that, like, work or prioritize that? I mean, you got to have some serious time management skills
Yes.
to be able to do it. How do you manage all of that and still keep the business going, as well as still taking care of the students?
Yes. Time management. I have everything to a T. I know I need to be up at this certain time to make sure the next component is running smoothly. If I'm running late, then I communicate. I make mistakes. So I make sure that I get that understood with the customer, or if I get the building, if I'm teaching, I have to make sure I have rest. Like that's the most important part of all. If I go to sleep at night, I know the next morning I can A, B, C, D. I gotta knock it out, and then I don't fault myself when I can't follow through the whole day. I just carry to the next day. So I give myself grace. That's the most important. I give myself grace, and the next day I do the same thing. But I have systems in place. My system is I got cakes going out that weekend. Then Monday and Tuesday are bake days. I gotta have a system. If I got to teach during the week, my lesson plan I already made for the week was expected. That's planned. The gym closed out first thing in the morning. Let's go to the gym. So as long as I'm prepared, then the business runs smoothly.
Got it.
But holding me accountable is the biggest key.
Right. That self accountability and time management.
It's so important.
Yeah.
Because who is I'm a blame.
Right.
I'm the only one in it. So, and it's the life I chose. So when you choose it, you got to make sure you can comply with it.
Right.
You know, you got to respect the business. Yep.
You also experienced miscarriages due to health complications, which is very painful for a woman. What gave you the courage to speak out openly about that?
Once I recognized that I am a public figure in the city, people respect me, respect the brand. I took the liberty to use my platform to let ladies know that that does happen. Unfortunately, it's something we deal with. How we deal with it is differently. Really tapping into the research, what's going on with your health, with your body, what's causing this to happen, and what can you do to fix it if you choose to give birth. And if you choose not to, just protecting your body and making sure you are aware of it. And so for me, I wanted to make people know that I'm not perfect. Like you said, entrepreneur give you this glamorous life. She's an entrepreneur. She's a teacher, sorority girl. No, I'm just like any other woman. I have situations I've dealt with, and I just want a woman to know that I'm someone you can reach out to talk to, and I've experienced it. It's painful. I just was telling my niece and nephews today, I wish I had kids, but life has its own reason of doing certain things, and we have to accept that. But we need to know why, and go through the healing process and understanding that does happen.
Yeah.
How you deal with it after that is on you.
Yeah.
So I just want ladies to know that it's okay.
Okay.
Do the research, get to know your body, find out what's going on, and make the right, choices going forward.
Good. Now, when life doesn't always follow the traditional timeline as it relates to marriage, children, milestones, how do you keep the peace with everything that's going on?
I had someone tell me, let the chips fall as they lay. So once everything just fall the way it's going to be okay with that. I had this thing that I wanted everything in my timeline, my way, my pace. I want to be married. I want to have kids. I want the big house, the picket fence, the dogs, and then what? I've had that. Like I said, I've been pregnant a couple times. I've been married. The career, the entrepreneur. I've done all of that. But where do you fit in? Where do you fit in? Are you happy? If it works, good. If it doesn't, then what? So now I'm at the then what? Okay, you did all these things. Now you're here. So now I'm really tuning into who am I? Who is Candace? What does it consist of? What does that look like? What does it feel like? How do I get in tune with myself? Like that's been major. Who I'm becoming now doesn't even compare to the years of college and the degrees. Getting to know myself, like it's been the hardest thing. Tapping into what feels good. Like I like to lay in the grass and just lay and just rest. Somebody that might not understand it. I had to get out of the whole what if they don't understand and get into what makes me happy.
So a lot of the things that you've gone through and shared with us today could actually test your faith.
Yes.
How did you keep your faith through all those different seasons?
Surrender. When you allow God, when you realize that you don't have control over it. I'm 42, I'll be 43 in a couple weeks. Like I said, I'm a control freak. I've always been. Like I just gotta have it this way, gotta be done this time. Once I realized that I do not have control, I became happy. But when I was trying to control it, was never good enough. Because I'm always moving the baton here. Let's go here. You can go harder. But once I realized that, okay, whatever it's gonna be, and be happy with the moment. And then you deal with the next moment as it comes. So I stopped trying to beat myself up as trying to meet timelines and be the perfect Candace and just be me
Yeah.
and just accept life for what it is.
Okay. What would you say to a woman silently grieving right now?
Um, Surrender, exhale, accept it. The reality is the reality. And if the longer you sit in it, the longer time passes you by. But once you sit in it, you got to sit in it. You got to deal with it. That's just part of it. You can't hide from that. But once you get done dealing with it, make some decisions on how you're going to move forward. Because once you're down, you can't go no further. You got to get up. I mean, that's the whole thing. Got to get up. And then how you get up is going to really play into who you become. You can get up and still be better, or you can take that grieving time to really look into yourself. Do the homework. And I'm talking about self-work. Get into that, find out how did I get here, what is going on, and how I plan on moving forward.
Now, I don't know, during your low moments if you had the support, but a lot of people who go through things don't always necessarily have that support. Like they're literally by themselves.
Right.
They don't know who to turn to, where to go. But from a practical standpoint, for that woman who is grieving or down or just don't know where to go, good advice you just shared. But like from your experience, did you have a support? Did you know where to go? How do you get into a space or get out of a space? Get out of a space where you're drowning to get into a space to where you can, okay, let's dry off and let's start surviving and making progress. How does someone who doesn't necessarily have the support get that support?
Most of us do have support. We just don't know who we're getting it from. The people who you least expect. For me, I was started because I do have support. I've had my family, friends, sorority sisters, and a lot of people. But God removed those individuals from me when I was grieving. He made me deal alone. So a woman who's dealing alone, you have to now sit and there's certain people that's speaking to you. They're speaking life to you. Or reach out to people and allow them to give you life or certain things. Like my students was big motivators when I was going through. They pushed me. Find something that you love and let that be your drive. If you don't have the people around, like I said, I like going outside. I like to sit in nature. Like that. I love my dogs. My dogs gave me so much happiness. They look forward to seeing me. Like it was nothing I could do wrong. I don't care how I looked that day, how I smelled, what cry. Nothing I could do wrong. My dogs was gonna be there for me, and that was my happy place. So I would tell one who don't have that resources, find your happy place. Like I said, riding in the car with the windows down, playing some soft. That was my happy place. And when I started getting into realizing, okay, I gotta do this journey by myself, I got into my happy place, and I allowed it to be what motivated me.
Yeah, I think you said that sometimes things are removed. I think a lot of times when we are going through, God does kind of remove things or distractions from, and that's probably the best thing, honestly.
Yes, absolutely.
When you're going through, and not only that, it actually gets you to kind of lean on Him a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Because if you do have all the extra support or some of those distractions, it's kind of taken away from your time with Him.
Yes.
And as they say, God's a jealous God, right?
Yes. He wants your undivided attention.
Yeah, so He'll remove everything. And sometimes you go through things because you're not giving Him that time.
Absolutely.
Right, so
I totally agree with that. That was my situation.
Yeah.
I have always had, like I said, family and friends. But when He put them in a predicament that couldn't help me, and I had to solely lean on to Him and get His approval, it changed everything. Like I've always been a young lady or a woman now who looked for approval. I don't know why, but I did. And I want my parents to be proud, or my friends, or my husband. But when He removed these individuals, and my solely focus was making Him happy, I understood the alignment. Then, oh God, I want to surrender to You. I want to make You please. I want to make sure I'm doing how You see fit. Remove Candace. Remove the family, the sorority, remove the glamorous, and let's deal with the core of the person. Am I being who You need me to be? And that's where I want to be. So when I said, okay, take everything from me, and I felt like everything was taken from me, and I'm going to trust You. And I've been in a place now where nothing takes me away from God. Like everything I do is Him first, and then everything else fall behind it. But I'm happy I did. It released some pressure. when you're trying to please everyone else.
Do you find yourself, after coming through, relying on him when you telling your story, you're always giving him thanks?
Yes,
And
in everything I
it's
do.
almost like he's getting the glory now, right?
In everything.
Whereas before,
It was me.
yeah.
I did this. I went to college. They got
Yeah.
these degrees, and I did all the meals. No.
Yeah.
No. Once I realized it wasn't me, it was definitely what he saw fit for me to have.
Yeah.
And I had to he had to humble me. I was a girl. I'm an AK. I'm a pretty girl. And da 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 da. None of that means anything. What God see fit, it's gonna happen. To what how he see fit, and in His timing.
Yeah.
So I had to remove me and accept it.
I think the biggest thing is like, we talking about grief, we talking about going through, we talking about obstacles, etc. He ain't putting more on you than you can handle.
Absolutely.
And it's you already got a way out of it. And that's just leaning on him and trusting, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Oh, for sure.
Because you would sit in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been sitting in my shop before I was able to get it open. I was like, Lord, what is going? Talk to me. Like, what I do deserve this? Like, I was mentioning the book of Job. Like, I was really, like you said, grieving. I was like, what did I do to deserve this? I mean, I'm the oldest of 3. I take care of my niece and nephew, all 8 of them. I've housed people. I've given everything. So what have I done to be here? And it wasn't what I've done, it's what I have not done. I have not let him guide me through it. It was always what I did. I housed these people in my house, and I took care of the kids, but I never gave him the glory because I couldn't have done it without him. So once I removed me and allowed him to be the center of it all, it changed. My perspective of it changed. So it's like, why not me?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to get out of this?
Right.
So the outlook, the thoughts, and the passion changed. And now I'm like, this is God's God. This is His plan. He moving the goalpost here. So I'm just going to follow on. He said stop, so I'm going to stop. He said don't go, move left, go right. So once I realized that was the plan, I'm here now. Yeah. I get it now.
That's good. That's good. There were seasons where you had to close your business for nearly a year. For an entrepreneur, that can feel like identity loss. What was that season like for you emotionally?
When I first closed, I just knew I was going to open back up within a month. I was rushing it. And I went and got keys to a building. I sat and with keys, super excited, but my money was depleted. So I was like, how do I get here and don't have the funds? Like, it don't even make sense. And it was scary. It was lonely. It was a lot of challenging times where I had to really figure out what was going on. I didn't have a car. I had to walk to my shop from my house. And it was just like during that time I was praying, like, I know this ain't it. Like, I know it's a plan in place. I just had no idea what the plan was. I wanted to know, God, just tell me. Just give me a little glimpse of what's next, what's to come. And it was like, you got to sit here. And I need your undivided attention right here. And I had to be patient. I really learned patience. Like, what does it mean? What does it look like? And it was humbling. It really was. So, but it was worth it.
Yeah. What does that isolation and stillness teach you?
It's okay to be alone. There are seasons where you have to be alone. And what do you do with that time is so important. During that time, I was taking notes. I was still working as if the business was still, I was looking at my books. What did I do wrong? What can I do better? So I took the time out to revise and look back over everything versus what I was going to do was jump from here to jumping here. Like, okay, let's keep this train moving. But that time of sitting alone made me go back and do my homework. How did I get here? What could I have done differently? Did you, just the whole taking money from the register today to put in the bank, how important is that? Like the transactions need to show every day. You can say I made ABC, but if you're not putting that money in the bank, so that downtime, maybe go back and look at, I didn't do this, and I should have done this. And so I had time to go back and answer those questions on why. How did we get here? Why are we sitting still? What could I have done better? And it was lonely, but it was necessary.
So the biggest thing is like you were or had that time to just reflect, refine,
Yes.
and when opportunities presented itself, you knew how to handle
How to move
those.
different. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At what point did you shift from why is this happening to what is this preparing me for?
Mm. Um, Once I finally accepted that's what it was at that time, a light bulb went off, and everything that I wanted, he was showing me. Okay, now that you got it, I got back in church. I prayed like crazy. Start exercising. I just started getting my physical together. And once I did that, it was like he was saying, okay, you're ready now. You rested now. You're healed now. So now I can give you this next part of the next chapter. So that prepared me for the next chapter when I took the time out to look at those things. Um, it was a lot looking back on it, but it was necessary to the fact that now I'm a better businesswoman. Now I look at business totally different. And from here to there, I didn't know they was going to turn into my bakery to an event hall. So it just opened when he allowed me to sit. It opened the doors for so many new things. So
Yeah. One of the things that I often say, and I'll say it as many times as I can possibly can,
mhm.
is that everything and every purpose comes into your life to reveal a greater purpose.
Yes,
And so, that's one of the things that kind of helps me get by. That's why I tend to always say it if I'm having conversations about, things that someone may be going through,
right.
or even just my own things that I've gone through, is that, you know, there's a reason why it's happening. And it's
Yes,
more than likely
absolutely.
to stretch you, to prepare you for something else. And so, you know, the thought of, asking why has really kind of, and when we say why, who are we saying why to? We probably saying it to God, right?
Right,
Or even if we
absolutely.
question ourselves for the situation, like why, but it's more or less, I started to say, okay, this is happening, but
Mhm.
what is this actually preparing me for?
Right.
What is the purpose of this in this current moment? Because I tend to ask for understanding.
Yes.
Give me understanding as to the purpose of this situation,
Right,
and
absolutely.
what is the greater purpose down the road? Because
Hmm.
I could falter. I could be going through, and I will fall, and it will, typically if you fall, you at a standstill,
Yes.
or you got to go back to the starting line.
Start back over,
Right. And
absolutely.
so it's like the test that we go through is just like a doggone video game. You in order to go to the next level, you got to beat that boss. So
Yes.
whatever you're going through at that time, don't even really worry about the why. Just try to understand the purpose, because
Yes.
if you're going through it, it is to stretch you. It is to get you prepared for something else. So just really try to understand the purpose, and understand what it's preparing you for. So that's what I tend to tell people is don't worry about the why.
Right.
Just really try to understand the purpose, because you're
Yes.
getting prepared for something. And if
Absolutely.
you're going through it, more than likely you can deal with it. You just
Absolutely.
got to hold on a little bit longer, a little
Yeah,
bit
you have
tighter,
to.
right? And so, I think that's pretty big. If we can shift our minds from the why,
Perspective.
and just really ask for understanding.
Yes.
It's a totally different mindset,
Yeah.
because we want, like, what did I do to to have this? What did I do
How'd I
to
get
have to
here?
go through this?
Hmm.
I'm a good person. Well, I don't do anything wrong. Why am I going through this? You know what I mean? So
Yes.
just listen to everything thus far, and then even thinking about some of the things I've gone through in my life. It's really just shifting the mindset to just
Yes.
understanding, what is this preparing me for, and how can I be an impact to someone
Yes.
else later on. So I think that's important. And then you talked a little bit about prayer. How did that prayer help you with rebuilding?
Um, I have great parents who pray for me, who have taught me to pray, and we go through this whole crazy faith. And that's one of my favorite words, just crazy faith. I've seen my parents go through a lot of different things, and it has shaped me. And my grandparents has shaped me to be a praying woman and understand what it do for you, why it's necessary. And to go back to what you just said, not asking why, but what's the purpose? Okay, God, what am I supposed to get out of this? Like, what are you teaching me? Am I getting what you're teaching me? So praying for me is so crucial. Like, I just say thank you. If I don't say anything else, like I want God to, and I want to acknowledge just the things He have already given me, how thankful I am to have them. And so with my prayer, I'm praying that things get better and that I'm doing my part. So it just really shaped me into being the woman who I want to be. A woman that is thankful for my position, thankful who I am. And I just want God to know that how grateful I am. So praying has just shaped the whole business. Even the public, when I was teaching, I make my students pray. Probably shouldn't done it, but they asked for it because I would pray and they'll see me do it. Miss Quinn, can we pray together? And I said yes. I'll never forget. I was teaching at Southern Avenue, and no, I was teaching. I think it was like 8th grade, and I got to myself and started praying, and my students was like, "Can we all pray together?" And I was like, I can't lead the prayer because it'll be against the school rule. But they was like, well, can we lead? You join us? And I was like, sure. And we did just that. And to this day, they still bring it up. Miss Queen, we prayed together. So I understand it's bigger than me. I understand the purpose of prayer. And I just where I'm at in life. I make sure, even with my friends, I tell them to pray about it. Never lose faith. Don't lose focus on what God is trying to tell you. Everything happened for a reason. My grandmama said, either you in the storm, going through a storm, or a storm is coming. So don't stop praying when you get what you want. Pray through it all the different seasons, and this was carrying me.
Yeah. So what part of you had to die in order for the next version to rise?
Ooh, I had to let go of being perfect. I had to die. This people pleasing Candace, people pleasing Pre, because she wanted to be what everybody wanted me to be. I wanted to be it. I wanted to not just be it, but be great at it. I wanted you to be proud of it. When I didn't get the acknowledgement that I wanted behind it, it changed for me. Like, okay, so I'm doing A, B, C, D. I remember me and my brother, um, he would be a kid that might get in trouble in school, so he got all the attention. And because I was a good kid, I'm like, but it turned to the expectation. It's what they expected of me. So I was like, okay, and then my brother told me, he was like, a lot of things you put on you to this day because you want to please everybody. So once I realized that I've done everything at this point, degrees, house, help with the family, I said, okay, I had to let this part go because I would never be happy if I'm always trying to please others. So once I accepted that I can't do that anymore, I have to let it go. I have to let it die and be peace with who I am. So at 42, if I'm not who you need me to be, then I might not be for you.
Yeah.
Because this is who I am now. And once I tap into this person, I'm comfortable. I'm happy. My dad might call and ask me to do something if I don't want to do it, and I can't do it today, Dad. When normally I would run a mile to do whatever he need me to do just to make sure he's tend to, or my mom needed something, I would do it. But I'm not perfect. I accept it. I'm not. I can't fix everything. It's not my job to do it. One person. So once I realized that, let that person die. Now people respect me. I remember at dinner one time, my parents asked me to do something, and I was like, I can't do it today. And everybody was like shocked, and my brother actually clapped. He was like, "You finally standing up for yourself," and it hit home because I'm like, have I never stood up for myself? And after I reflected, I was like, no, I haven't. I've done what's expected, but I don't do it anymore. I do what I can, but I don't overplay my position, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
you're the oldest sibling and stepped into a significant role helping care for your sister's 6 children.
mhm.
How has family shaped your definition of legacy?
Whew. That's funny. I took my two youngest niece to church this morning, and my nephew who's in Houston, I helped them out today, and one of the twins. And my niece, who gives me a hard time, but I love her dearly. She told me, said, "TT, I know I'm hard headed, but I want you to know that I listen to you. I admire you. I look up to you." And that set with me because sometimes you can feel like you're not getting your point across, or they're not getting it. And today we joined church. And she led it,
Mhm.
which was crazy today. And for me, she heard my heart. She opened up to let me see the hard work that I've been putting in with these kids is not going unseen. So not having kids, I question what will be my legacy because I don't have kids. And my niece reassured me, like, Titi, we're gonna carry it on for you. And that means everything to me. Like my sacrifice today, when we had that moment, let me know that I've done a good deed. As my grandma said, you put in a good fight. So when we joined church today, the lady asked if you was to, if God was to come down today, what are you prepared? And my niece was like, no. So the question came to me, and I said yes. I've done what I feel will be pleasing to God. A lot of different things, but starting with my niece and nephews, like to take them in and to raise them. I'm talking about from kids to my oldest 25. It's been a journey. Um, no regrets, but it's been a journey. I've learned a lot about myself, love, patience, and so that legacy will be carried through them kids and friends as well. Kids I've always been there for. So it's a legacy there.
Yeah.
Even for my students, I had a student who was I consider my goddaughter, and she tell me every day how much she appreciated things I've taught her, and she's grown with kids. So the legacy of who I am has will be carried, and I'm thankful for that.
Okay. As one of Shelby County Schools' leading culinary educators,
Hmm.
what responsibility do you feel when mentoring the next generation?
As a leader, I feel like it's my duty to give them the correct response on how to deal with life and dealing with the kitchen, what that looks like, dealing with the real world. I've had students come back and say, Miss Quinn, you was right. Kids who wanted to be grown, who I've taught over the years, and now they're grown. And she was like, Miss Quinn, I didn't treat my grandparents right when I was in school, but you kept staying on me. And now I understand it because I have my own family, what that looks like. I had the opportunity to speak with the mayor 2 weeks ago, and some of my former students was in this program that was in. So I sat on the panel with the mayor and a couple other people. And my goal, my role in this is to lead, redirect, and give them a blueprint of if I can do it from a young girl from North Memphis, different lifestyles I have experienced to now where I'm at, it gives them something to look forward to. So I feel like it's my job to give them the outlook, the picture that you can do it if you stay focused, stay grounded, and put in the hard work. Got to be disciplined, and that's what I do. Even when I go to school now, I teach my students accountability. It's really important. I teach them that.
So your students, what do you hope that they remember about you?
My heart. My grandmother always said, a child can tell when you're a good person. A child and a dog is going to tell you everything you need to know. Bring a person around a dog and a child, and they'll read the room for you, and they'll tell you if your heart is right.
Hmm.
And that's what I want them to remember, Miss Queen Hard. How I'm passionate about it. I love students. I love kids. I love to give back, and I just want them to remember that if no one else cares, Miss Quinn does, and I've definitely put that install it in my students. And on social media, I have people who ask me to teach classes, one on ones, or ask for advice or mentorship. I do it, because I don't want to be selfish. Someone has helped me. I want to help others. I believe in passing along.
So how does serving the community actually align with your faith, though?
Um, how does that align with my faith? I just feel like God uses everyone. So when He used me, I'm not, like I said, I'm not the perfect person, but I'm definitely in a position where I want to be an example that you can look to as a mentor who have given out, give back. I do lives, I ask questions. I allow you to ask me questions when it comes to business, personal, whatever. I'm an open book, so I want to be able to share. And I believe with my faith, that's my job is to not only just do the work, but show the work and have my beliefs. And I let you pick your own faith, but I want you to see through me there's Christ, and that's what I believe in, and that's where my heart is at. So I feel like I allow that to be shown.
You say trust the process,
Yes,
let go, and let God.
absolutely.
What does surrender actually look like in real life?
Mm. What does it look like? Oh, Surrender for me has been removing my hands off things. When I wasn't able to open my business, I was open about it. I was honest. When people ask me, what your new shop? What happened? I don't have the funds right now. That was me being really transparent, expressing like I went through. And that was me surrendering it. Because I can make it look pretty. I can say, oh, it's coming. It's coming soon. I'm working on it. But when I surrender and say, look, I'm going through. I'm doing cakes at my house again. My first customer back in the house, I took a picture to say, I got this big old sign at the mall that said Taste Buds, but now I'm down to this sign again, where our original started. So I brought back my original sign to say, this is me surrendering, saying, I don't have it all figured out, but God does. And I'm just going to trust this process. So I came from this big old building in the mall, happy, big sign, open every day. So now I'm back at home. And that's okay. So from home for a year, now I'm here now. So that's me trusting the process to say, okay, it might not have lined up how I wanted to do, but this was God's timing. And I'm just surrendering. I'm just in it. He just picked me to be in the position to go through this. So I want you to see it. Like, this is real. This is what I'm going to do in real time. And once I removed that mask of trying to paint this picture and you saw the real me, people was able to connect and to relate. I had people who was going through divorce. It was calling me and, you're a young lady and you going through and you got lupus. I had so many different calls from either from marriage or raising my sister kids or my health. It was just like, you showing me that I can get through it. We've been watching you on this journey. And once I, like I said, surrender it, I couldn't do nothing but be honest with it. That was my truth.
So when you were surrendering, you was and I guess the feedback you were getting, you were actually being an inspiration in real time.
In real time.
Yeah.
Because I would go live and do a cake, and in the mix of me doing a cake, I would have a real talk conversation like, this was going on, this was happening, and stay tuned. More. I never lost my faith. I knew more was coming. I just know when. Now, originally I set a date. I'll be open by this time. But when it didn't happen, I'm like, okay, well, that's not what's going on here, y'all. But I'm still working. I'm in the house. I'm doing this. So I kept the community involved in the whole process. So when people look at it, they like, your story is amazing, So I'm thankful for that.
How do you know when you're operating in your own strengths versus God's direction?
Good question. So during the time of that year, I tried to go back and teach. And I got the job, and they told me I was overqualified. I went back and worked at Sam's last year. I was doing cakes, and people walk past like, ain't that the girl who had the bakery? What's she doing working at Sam's? And I just tried to do everything my way. And God kept saying, no, I need you to sit. I didn't tell you to go to teach. I didn't tell you to go to Sam's. It's like I was trying to do everything my way again. And he was like, no, I need you to be without money right now. I need you to take the cake money and save. I need you to see if you can do this with the little bit I'm giving you. When I give you more, you're going to know how to move, with passion and respect and things in perspective. And so, I keep saying I had to sit in it. I had to sit in it and understand that I can't rush the process how I wanted to. So when it was time to go back to teaching, he made it where I was only teaching part-time now. Where I was trying to go full-time. He said, no, you need to rest. If you go full-time teaching and then I give you the business how you want it again, when did you really put things back in perspective? When did you rest? What was the homework time? What was the healing time? I needed time to heal. I went through a divorce and the death of my sister. And I was trying to rush back out and do anything to keep me from grieving. And I had to heal. And so I had to sit in it. Still sitting in it, but now from a different place. So now that I'm teaching, I got my business, I don't look, my perspective have changed. My outlook has changed. And I found my purpose again.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go through some quick questions.
Okay.
And I'm going to see how fast you can answer these questions.
All
right. First one.
Okay.
Favorite dessert to make?
Pound cake.
One word for this season of your life.
Unapologetic.
Best advice you've ever received?
Keep on living.
One boundary you won't compromise on.
My peace.
What does luxury mean to you?
Freedom.
And one message to someone trying to rebuild.
Trying to rebuild. Surrender.
Surrender.
Mm-hmm.
All right. When people look at your life for the next 20 years from now, what do you hope that they would actually see?
Endurance, faith, love, passion. A person who's very driven, God fearing, ambitious. That sums it up for me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If someone watching right now feels delayed or discouraged, what do you want them to remember?
Make sure it's God's driven if it's his purpose. If it doesn't align with what he has in place, then let it go. If it's for you and he is giving you this gift, he'll make everything fall into place. You don't have to worry about anything. Just be okay and trust the process. Timing. Make sure that's what you're supposed to be doing. Not something you want to do. Because you can leave a secure career and jump to something else that wasn't for you to jump into just because you like it. If you like it, it might just be a hobby. But to go full-term entrepreneur, you got to really do your homework. Do not leave your 9 to 5 until you know you got the time, the energy. You start off with everybody supporting your dream. Oh, you're great cakes. I love it. But your biggest customers are people you do not know. That's who's going to follow you. I mean, every trend you're going to post, they're going to share, they're going to compliment. Your family's not going to do it. Not because they don't love you, but they've seen it for years. They're kind of over it. But someone else is still pushing it. So make sure you driven and you know in your heart you're supposed to be doing this. Pray over it.
Yeah, you said don't leave your 9 to 5.
Don't leave it
right away.
No, absolutely.
I tend to tell people, who are trying to get into this space of entrepreneurship
Yes.
or run their own business, etc. And they're thinking like, this is the best ideal and it's going to work. Like, look, that's cool, but you want to at least make sure, I always say, you want to at least make sure that business that you're running on the side is up to a point where it's making 2 to 3 times your salary.
Yes.
Because, I mean, if you try to dip out and you ain't even making your salary, you're going to struggle. Because you still got to pay the bills.
Yes.
Then not only
you.
do you got to pay the bills, your personal bills.
Yes.
You got to pay the bills for this business now.
Oh, absolutely.
So 2 to 3 times, really 3 times your salary of whatever it is you make. Because now you're able to cover your bills, you're able to cover the business bills, and you're able to do some reinvesting into the business and or yourself 3 times, whatever. So that really stuck out. In terms of the entrepreneur piece, is if you are looking to start something and you have a job, it may not be the best job, but it's a job, right?
Absolutely.
Hold on to that job until you start to build it, till that side hustle starts to really supersede that regular job at least 3 times over before you let that job go. So, but other than that, I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate all the thoughts, the lessons that you're able to give us about that you learned.
Yes.
That I hope that it would help somebody else with the journey that they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
So certainly appreciate you blessing us with your time today.
Pleasure.
And I don't know. I think we were talking a little bit last year about this time, and it finally happened.
Yes,
but
perfect timing.
I never forgot though.
I appreciate it.
I never forgot.
I truly appreciate it.
So I always knew that I wanted you on here, and I'm glad that we kind of had this moment today, and I'm really appreciative of it.
Same. I thank you.
Yeah.
And I hope I was able to help someone out on the journey, because it's been a journey. It's going to continue to be a journey. And I thank you for allowing me to use your platform to get out my word, my story, and my purpose.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
If this episode spoke to you, share it. Somebody in your life is rebuilding quietly. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Because purpose isn't about perfect timing. It's about obedience and resilience. This is the Purpose Pursuit Podcast. Go pursue yours.